From the East and the West, you've heard others, but now you've tuned into the best. This is a Prime Wave Media production.
What's up, world? It's the one and only Pop DBIC, the PrimeTime Capper. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling great. I hope you are feeling the same. And just having a little difficulties with Twitter right now, pretty much showing that I can't go live right now. So I'm just going to tweet that out. Twitter won't go live. So show is on YouTube now. All right, so let's jump into it. Awesome games last night that we had. Great games that we had last night. Let's go ahead and jump into the first one. First one is going to be this. It's going to be the Heat from last night. The Heat go up 3-1. Hard-fought 109-101 win over the reeling Knicks. Can they finish off the series in Game 5? Can they finish off the series in Game 5? And a little throwback there. Ewing versus Morning, Georgetown on Georgetown. Then, Knicks, Jimmy Butler versus Randall. So, the stars of yesteryear and the stars of today. So, last night, you had a Knicks team that came close. They had moments to where they could have won the game, but they just couldn't finish. But probably their best quarters were the first and the third last night, and they did win the fourth quarter. That's what kills me. And all what went wrong with the Knicks seriously was this. The Knicks had to deal with the fact that they just can't score when it's time to put those points over the top. Jalen Brunson is an absolute gem. I think he plays the game of basketball so easy. And I thought that last night he was incredible. He had 32 points, 11 assists with 4 rebounds last night. But he was in a lot of foul trouble last night as well, too. He had 5 fouls last night in 44 minutes. That's what makes it crazy. RJ Barrett had a honest 24. He probably shot the best out of everybody last night. And Randall was incredible last night as well, too. He's 8 of 13. A lot of people were talking a lot of ish, but Randall really went 8 for 9 from the field, but he went 1 of 4 from the three-point line. So he really only missed so many shots inside the arc. And instead, he missed more outside of the arc last night. But he had a good game last night to me as well. And, you got your big three that got you, sometimes you got to ask for a little bit more. But, your big three pretty much got you your big three got you 76 points last night. Literally, they scored 80% of their points last night. Let's keep it real. 76, they scored 101 points. They're going to need a little bit more. Quentin Grimes, 41 minutes, he only had 9 points. Then the bench was awful last night. The bench had 10 points last night. Obi Toppin in 5 minutes had 4 points. Do you guys know Obi Toppin was a top 10 pick? Like, literally, are we just throwing guys out there as top 10 picks now? You know what I mean? Like, literally, are we? Because the guy was the 8th pick in the draft in 2020. And that was supposedly a good draft, wasn't it? Right? No, it wasn't a good draft because drafts aren't the same anymore. Obi Toppin was the player of the year out of Dayton, of all places, and has never shown me anything in the NBA. So it really goes back to what the Knicks are drafting. The Knicks are doing a good job getting free agents, but the Knicks are doing a terrible job on creating a team. And I think that that's the biggest problem with the Knicks. They have nothing to look at when it comes to the bench. And not having Quigley last night was huge when you think about it. So the Knicks going into Game 6 tomorrow is going to be – Game 5, I'm sorry. Game 5 tomorrow, it's going to be kind of a stretch. You know what I mean? It's going to be a game possibly where a lot of people are going to be very on the heat. But we'll see how things go. We'll see how the rhythm feels. But as of today, the Knicks just close but no cigar. And the Knicks didn't win the rebounding contest. They didn't win the rebounding war last night either. They got out rebounded by 9, 44-35. They've been good at getting way more rebounds in this series, but not last night. They were 9-28 from the three-point line, 37-76, under 50%. They actually shot better than the Knicks last night. Also, were pretty good from the free throw line as well, too. But it's just those 16 turnovers was the difference in the game. It's just that simple, at the end of the day. So pretty much let's go ahead and move forward. Let's talk about the state of the Lakers. And the Lakers last night, oh boy. Lake Show, here we go. Lake Show, absolutely epic last night. Steph Curry, triple-double. Lakers had to withstand that last night. And that's all the Lakers truly had to withstand last night. And for a moment there in the first half, Gary Payton Jr. was an absolute headache. Gary Payton Jr. was incredible in the first half last night. In 23 minutes of play, he had 15 points, 3 assists, 3 rebounds, 2 assists. But you guys have to understand how easy the buckets Gary Payton Jr. was getting last night. Gary Payton Jr. literally was getting wide open layups with nobody around him. Like it was almost like breakaways, and we're in the half court set. And when him and Steph just play so well together. And the small ball lineup in all seriousness gave the Lakers absolute fits last night. And it made Curry be a magician last night. I'm going to tell you this. I've never been as high on Curry as everybody else. I know he's a great player ever since Davidson and everything like that. Great shooter, superb shooter, a shooter that's just ridiculous. You know what I mean? But one thing I'm never going to put Curry over the legends like that. I think Curry's like the greatest compliment to a great team. You know what I mean? Because that's exactly what he is, an ultimate team player. And I feel that's exactly who Curry is, and there's nothing wrong with that. I was a team player. I totally get it. That's why I understand where Curry's coming from. It's about winning. But, he's a guy that's not scared to shoot because he knows that's how he makes his imprint on the game. But Steph last night, shooting-wise, it was not what impressed me with Steph last night. It was the passing. Steph had 14 assists in this triple-double with 31 points and 10 rebounds. But when you look at the shooting, Steph only went 3 for 14 from the three-point line, and he shot 12 for 30 last night as well, too. So these points were not easy for Steph to get last night. They were really tough for Steph to get because the Lakers are playing exceptional defense right now as well, too. At the end of the day, that's exactly what they're doing is playing great defense. And this has became a very sound team on that end. And last night, Curry just didn't get enough from his teammates. You had Klay Thompson. He only had 9 last night. He went 3 and 9 from the 3-point line, and he went 0-2 from inside the 3-point line. He was awful last night. That's not Klay. But he got 3 threes home that were all critical when they needed them. Draymond Green last night had himself a good single last night, 8-7-5 last night. And he had the most key turnover in the game last night, too, when he couldn't find Klay. Klay, he throws the ball right to the corner. AD steals the ball. Now, DiVincenzo was a little bit of an issue last night. He wound up scoring 10 points last night, and it was kind of quiet, but his points were all clutch points. But the guy who was kind of impressive to the Warriors last night was Moses Moody. I was high on Moody coming out of college because he did play for Arkansas, and he was a top player for Arkansas as well, too, and went into that draft and was kind of a steal for the Warriors as well, too, because he was a really good player coming into the NBA. And Moody had 7 points last night, and he hit shots in at crucial times, and he actually went 3 for 3 last night. But the Lakers, I know you guys already know, but Lonnie Walker was absolutely incredible in the fourth quarter. And you guys know I've been calling for Lonnie Walker. I literally had my game speech Friday about getting guys in the game and what's your problem, coach. And Lonnie Walker has done nothing but made a brother look good. You know what I mean? He scored 36 points in the last 3 games, and he got 15 last night in the fourth quarter, and the Lakers needed every single one of those points to win the game. The Lakers were down 12 at one point in the second half, and the Lakers at one point going into the fourth quarter were actually down 7 points as well too. The Lakers seemed to be in a lot of trouble, but when the fourth quarter came around, the Lakers just turned it on. Even though the Lakers kept making some mistakes that kept the Warriors slightly ahead, but they went point for point last night. LeBron, he did not start off the game in the greatest fashion, but he finished the game in great fashion. He finished with 27. AD was great in the first half. He dropped 19, but he wound up only with 23 points. But he had 15 rebounds as well, too, last night. So that was huge for the Lakers in this game. But Austin Reeves was the difference in the starting lineup as well. He was the guy that was the third 20-point scorer last night. It seems like the Lakers have 3 20-point scorers each night, and it's always going to be a random on who the third one's going to be. One night it was Rue, another night it was D'Angelo, and last night it was Reeves. So Reeves has 21. He hits 3 of 6 from the 3-point line, all crucial threes that the Lakers needed to chip into leads and things like that. D'Angelo Russell was a little off last night, 1 for 10 with only 4 points last night. So he was not who he was in game 3. So hopefully he'll bounce back in game 5. Now, Schroeder was a huge piece off the bench. They're not going to talk about it because they're going to talk more about his turnovers last night, which he only had 2, but they were real critical turnovers when he had them. So him having his 10 points was very vital to the Lakers because he was able to get steals and get things going for the Lakers that got the momentum going for the Lakers as well too. But you look at Lonnie Walker's stats and you just tell yourself, man, that guy had a game last night. 6 of 9, 1 of 3 from the three-point line. But he also had 2 steals last night as well, 3 critical rebounds, and he had some big-time assists as well. And you just hope that he gets more playing time in the next game. But the Lakers, all in all, they got the win that they needed to get. A lot of people assume that the Lakers probably were going to win both games in L.A. because everybody feels like the Warriors have to have this great comeback in the series and everything like that. But I'm going to keep it real with you. I know that this is I don't want to jump the gun, anything of that nature, but they're already handing the Warriors game 5. And I think that maybe that might not be the smartest angle and the smartest take that you can do with a tired Warriors team. If you look at it, the Warriors have not had, say, 2 days off since they played the Kings, because you have to understand they played 7 games with the Kings, so they had games every other day, and then they went into this series and there's games every other day in this series. There hasn't been any break in the series. So the Lakers, to me, have been able to have 2 blowout games. Game 2, they rested AD and Bron. Game 3, they rested AD and Bron. They didn't play in the fourth quarter. They played in the fourth quarters in games 1 and 4. They keep saying the Lakers' legs are tired. The Lakers' legs are tired. The Lakers are tired. The Lakers are tired. The Warriors are the same type of tired because they had to do the same exact thing. They had to do a lot of winning there at the end of the season. So pretty much, and they were a team that had their ups and downs all year long. They weren't consistent, just like the Lakers. And the Lakers hit their stride at the right time. The Warriors have been back and forth on, hey, they'll win 6 in a row, then they'll lose 4 in a row. That's been the Warriors season all year. And so pretty much right now, the Warriors are struggling against a team that is hard for them to beat. The Lakers have beat them 6 out of 7 times. So really, when you look at everything in the scope of things, you say, okay, yeah, the Warriors get that win because you want the series to continue. But if you're thinking like the Lakers, you want to end the series in 5. And you have the opportunity to end the series in 5. So why not? You know what I mean? So they're gonna sell the Warriors to win game 5. They're gonna sell it hard. They're gonna sell it hard to you. But We'll get to it tomorrow when we need to talk about it and break it down when it's time to break it down. But just be ready for a lot of, per se, you know, bullshit. You know what I mean? Coming up tomorrow about the Warriors and they should roll. They'll probably be a 7-8 point favorite as well, too. The Lakers, if they're not in the game, they'll probably go ahead and throw up the white flag. I don't know about all that. I truly don't. I think that if you go in with the mentality that they're going to lay down, then that doesn't happen. It doesn't happen at all. So, pretty much with that, let's go ahead and move forward to the next topic and let's talk about it. And that's going to be the 76ers and the Celtics tonight. This is a 2-2 series headed back to Boston tonight, game 5. The Celtics are a 7.5 point favorite with the over-under being 213.5. Last game out, Tatum and Brown combined for 50 points. Just was not enough to get this one home. They got 21 from Brogdon off the bench as well. So, they had a lot of things working for them, but close but no cigar. They just couldn't get it home the way they wanted to get it home. So Boston coming off of 2 really good victories before losing game 4. And usually when you win the back-to-back games in the series, you're probably the best. We usually think you're the better team in the series. But Boston, fresh off of this loss, losing by 4. Actually, they lost by 1. Wasn't 1-50. I'm looking at game 1. But they lost by 1 their last game in overtime. And I just feel like, let's keep it real. The Celtics didn't have to do that much. They just lost because they made boneheaded mistakes in that game. The 76ers, on the other hand, these guys really got lucky. Let's keep it real. Harden had to put up 42, and you had to get 34 from Embiid to win this game. And then what did you get from everybody else? Not much of anything. You got 14 from Maxey. And then you got Niang and Reed only gave you 11 off the bench. You got 9 from Tobias Harris, a guy that's making a whole lot of money right now, and you're expecting way more than 9 points from him. So pretty much they had to get literally 70% of their points from 2 guys. And I don't think that bodes well going into tonight's game, because Boston had 6 guys in double figures. Only reason why Boston lost this game was because Boston fell behind early and they had to come back late. I think tonight what happens in this game is this. It's going to be a little close, but Boston figures out a way to stay ahead and keep this game right where it needs to be. So I do like Boston tonight to win the game, but I like the 76ers to cover the game. That's how I'm feeling in this spot. But we do have to remember this is a game 5, and we do have to remember that these are 2 rival teams as well, too. So they're going to go at it tonight. And it's not going to be a walk in the park for Boston. Just because Boston's really good at home, that means absolutely nothing playing against the 76ers. They are dealing with the MVP of the NBA, and they are dealing with the former MVP of the NBA as well, too. So those are two very, very intriguing players for Boston to take on tonight. And then you still have some pretty good role players there as well. So Boston just can't overlook the 76ers, who are their arch rivals. So we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it shakes out. We move forward from there. Let's go ahead and jump into the game that I've been waiting to talk about. This one is going to be the Suns and the Nuggets. This series is also tied up at 2. You have 5.5 going on each side here as well. Over under 227.5 as well. You got Devin Booker, who's absolutely cooking right now. Devin Booker has scored 40 is averaging is on a scoring bender right now. The guy had 47 in game 3, then he has 36 in game 4. It's just an incredible situation to watch. You know what I mean? It's just incredible that this guy can come back and do this each and every game and be this good. Booker is averaging, I think, almost 40 points a game. The guy is having sick games. Okay. And the thing is, it's so efficient too. It's not like he's just going out there and just, throwing the ball up there and, shooting up 50 shots and making 20. No, the guy's shooting up like 22 shots and making 20, shooting 27 and making 22. And that's what's very, very incredible about what's going on with Devin Booker. Devin Booker went 14 for 18 the last game and went 3 of 4 from the three-point line. So this guy is actually coming into age for his game. Let's keep it real. He's coming to age. And he had 12 assists. That's why I said he's coming of age. But he had 5 turnovers as well, too. But once again, Durant saved the day because Durant drops 36 on his side. But the guy who truly saved him was Shamet, because Shamet had to get 19. Now, Jokic had to literally carry this team. Like, he had to carry them on his back. He got 53 points on 20 and 30. And shot and hit 2 out of 4 threes. So he went 50% on threes and went 60% on field goals to get 53 points. And then he got 28 from his co-star, Jamal Murray. They did well, but they didn't get enough from the other half of the DeBarge brothers. That's Aaron Gordon and Michael Porter Jr. Those guys only got 11 points. And KCP got 10. So they did get a good double-figure effort from their guys. But there was more scoring from the other side. More guys chipped in with the Suns. So that's what gives the Suns the win. But the Suns were over the top because they had Shamet go off. It's that simple. It's that simple. And Shamet going off only made it a 5-point difference. So it shows me that if Shamet just gave him half the effort that he had, the Nuggets win by double digits. So this is not a hard series for the Nuggets. The only way it's hard on the Nuggets is because they've beaten themselves in these games. Let's keep it real. Let's keep it real. They've beaten themselves in both of these games. I'm looking at them right now. Game 1, they blew them away. Game 2, they blew them away because they knew how to finish it. But game 3, close game, you wind up losing by 7. Game 4, close game, you wind up losing by 5. So pretty much they had to do everything possible to win those games. The Nuggets beat themselves in these games. They're going back home tonight. It's going to be a different look. They can let Booker and Durant go off. It's the others that they can't let get off. That's the whole thing. And tonight, I know that's going to be in the game plan. So let's see how it goes. Let's see how it shakes out. But I'm very confident in what Denver is going to be able to do tonight, because that one right there leaves a bad taste in your mouth, game 4, because you know you could have won that game. There were so many opportunities for Denver to win that game, but Denver just did not step up to the plate when they needed to, but they did not have enough. Jokic had to do way too much in that game. I know he's going to dial it back. You'll probably get a little bit more from Aaron Gordon tonight, and you'll get a little bit more from the bench as well, too. But we do have to remember Denver is rolling 8 deep, so they're not playing that many guys off the bench. So we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it shakes out. And with that, we're going to go ahead and take our first commercial break. And when I get back, we're going to jump into Blue Crew Daily and the MLB Tuesday Night. So you stay tuned. This is the premier sports betting show, the PrimeTime Angles, with the one and only Pop DiBiase, the PrimeTime Capper.
Good News Only Racing Club, led by the legendary Doug O'Neill, the trainer of 2 Kentucky Derby winners, and I'll have another in Nyquist. Also trained 2-time Breeders' Cup champ Golden Sense, who are just a part of a long list of thoroughbred champions trained by Doug O'Neill. The Good News Only Racing Club has a young core of horses to look out for in Dennis's Celery, Irish Heatwave, and Notre Dame, just to name a few. Win the day every day with the Good News Only Racing Club, a proud sponsor of the NFL Bet Exchange.
From the East and the West, you've heard others, but now you've tuned into the best. This is a Prime Wave Media production.
Tune into Big Wave Boxing every week with a brand new guest with the one and only Pop DiBiase, the Primetime Capper, getting the best boxing stories, best boxing angles, and the truth when it all comes down to the sweet science. Tune in to Big Wave Boxing on the Prime Wave Media channel on YouTube.
All right. Let's go ahead and get back into it. Dodgers. Blue Crew Daily. Dodgers dropped the first game of the series with the Brewers in a 9-3 loss. Will they bounce back in today's game? Well, the Dodgers, yesterday they had Gosselin on the mound. You know, Freddie Peralta was out there. I told you Freddie Peralta is a good pitcher. So Freddie Peralta just tore the Dodgers up. It's simple. And what happened was the Dodgers just weren't good yesterday. But it's okay. The Dodgers have won 8 out of 9 now, 8 out of 10. And the Dodgers did not have batting practice yesterday either. So that kind of worked its way in there. And, you know, the Dodgers didn't get into Milwaukee until 3 a.m. So they had to get some rest last night. So the night before. So really, they were kind of in a bad spot. Now, if they would have played well, you know, it would have been different. But, you know, it just didn't start well. Well, it was like this. The Dodgers, the first 5 innings were scoreless. And then all of a sudden, Joey Weimer hits a 3-run shot, and things get a little different. Max Muncy then, you know, shaves the lead down 1-3. And then the 7th inning came around, and the Brewers went off. And then they hit another 3-run homer. Willie at Ames hits another 3-run homer, and they're up 9-1. What can you do? And Chris Taylor goes ahead and has himself a 2-run shot late in the day, but you know, what can you do? And Gosselin gives up 3, you know. Struck out 6, though. He was pretty good through the first 6 innings, and then it just was, you know, downhill from there. And Phil Beckford really got beat up yesterday. He wound up giving up 4 runs yesterday. He was the guy that got the homer smashed. It looks like he's the one that pretty much they kind of tore into him yesterday. It happens, you know what I mean? It happens. But Bigford is a guy I'm still heavy on. But yesterday, it just was not a good day for the Dodgers. The Dodgers wound up only getting 6 hits, and they only produced 3 runs. Those 6 hits came from Betts, Freeman, Muncy, Chris Taylor, and Austin Barnes. So, you know, sometimes when you know it's not Will Smith Day, it's gonna be a little bit of a headache. You know what I mean? So the Dodgers, I'm not too worried about it because we're still in May. It's still early. And as I said before, the Dodgers will hit their stride come early June. Now they are a half a game up on Arizona, who plays tonight as well, too, playing against the Marlins. So, you know, the Dodgers are in a close race right now. San Diego's 2.5 back as we speak. On the outside looking in, San Francisco losing record, but they're not too far off themselves. They're only 5 games out. So there's a lot of things that, you know, that tell you things are still early. It's okay. The Dodgers have plenty of time. But if we were to start the playoffs today, the Dodgers will be in, but they wouldn't be the 1 seed. They would be the 3 seed. So that means that the Dodgers would have to start the playoffs off against San Diego if they were to start a playoff today. And I know that the NL West can be very happy with itself today because if they started the playoffs today, they would have 3 teams from the NL West in this bad boy as well. So that's pretty cool. But the Braves still sitting pretty at number 1 in the NL, while the Dodgers are tied with the Pirates, but the Pirates have the advantage because the Pirates did win they already have the wins over the Dodgers. They won 2 out of 3, but that doesn't necessarily mean they have won the series against the Dodgers because they're going to have to play them again when they go to the Ravine. So pretty much but I don't see but we all know the Pirates ain't going to be no damn NL Central champions. Come on, man. I like them, but come on, let's keep it real. Let's keep it real. All right, so tonight the Dodgers got Thor on the mound. I don't know how much longer they're going to keep Thor in the starting rotation, but the last game he did decent against St. Louis. He only gave up 3 runs in a win, his first win of the season. He didn't strike anybody out though, but he gave up 8 hits. Now the game before that, he struck out 2 and gave up 7. Then he struck out 2 and gave up 2 against the Mets. But his best outing of the year was against the Cubs. He gave up 3 runs that day, but he struck out 9. So we know Thor still has it. We know that Thor can still go ahead and strike a side out and, strike out a bunch of batters and things of that nature. But will he be good today? That's the question. And I think that he can be good today because he has some rest. The Dodgers are going to have a little bit of rest as well too. And then I feel like the Dodgers should be in this game, and I think the Dodgers snatched this one up. It's going to be a close one to call, so you can get them on a cheap money line today. They're not going to be the favorite, but you can get them on a cheap money line today, and that should be good work for you. I'm seeing minus 120 right now. And you going against Eric Lauer. The Dodgers know Eric Lauer. They've beaten up on Eric Lauer. Eric Lauer last time out gave 4 runs to Colorado at Colorado. So, this is the type of game that really feeds into the Dodgers bouncing back and having a pretty good day. So we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it shakes out, and we'll go from there. All right, so we move forward, and let's go ahead and talk about the next subject in hand, and that's going to be MLB Tuesday Night. MLB Tuesday Night, we have ourselves some very fun action going on. We got some interleague games. We got some divisional games. We got some interdivisional games. We got a lot of good things going on today in the world of baseball. But first, let's talk about the Tigers and the Guardians. This is an AL Central matchup. The Tigers and Guardians on 2 different levels right now. But the Tigers, though, did have a nice little stretch run last week. They wound up winning. Having a winning week last week, like their best week of the season. They wound up winning 5 out of 6 last week, even with a game getting delayed. But they've done well, and they've actually won the last 6 out of 7 to be exact, because they were trying to go for double sweeps, but they couldn't get the double sweep against St. Louis. So this team is playing really good baseball, because in April they were awful at points. You know what I mean? At one time they had lost 6 in a row, but they've had their moments in time. This is the second time that they've won 5 or more games in a row this year. So, and it was a big win yesterday, because they actually were a big dog going into yesterday's game, but they wound up winning that game 6-2. So tonight against the Guardians, you got a team that they probably have the advantage in the pitching category, because they got the man himself, Shane Bieber, on the mound. And we all know Shane Bieber is a gem of a pitcher. We all remember back 2020 when he did win the Cy Young. So, we all remember this guy very well. And he had a great season that year. And he's having a decent season this year as well, too. He's struck out 30, walked 12. He's given up 15 runs on the season. So I think that Shane should be able to hold it down in this game. Michael Lorenzen, former Red and Angel, he's always been a guy that, has been off and on. His last really good season was 2019, but since then it's been a little dull for him. But I truly do think that in this spot today, that the Guardians run away with this game. I got the Guardians winning this game by 2 or more runs. We're getting plus 105 on that run line as well, too. So with that, let's go ahead and move forward. Let's jump into our next game, and that's going to be the Jays and the Phillies. And everybody knows that back in 1993, we had ourselves one of the funnest World Series ever. The Phillies and the Blue Jays. That is always going to be remembered, because the walk-off homer from Joe Carter off of the Mitch Williams. So, pretty much everybody, and that was just like, really, that was so pop culture. Like, literally, it was like, where's Mitch Williams? Like, we're looking for Mitch Williams because Mitch Williams literally fell off the face of the earth after that happened because he rolled back around the next season and everybody was destroying his bitches. You know what I mean? Everybody. And he wasn't in the league too much longer after that. So, Jays, Phillies. Two teams going in two different directions. The Phillies are a team that is waiting, is about to start winning, but the winning ain't going to start until June because they have to get Bryce Harper acclimated back to the lineup. Now, this Blue Jays team, on the other hand, they are dealing with a team playing out of their mind right now, and that's them dealing with the Rays being so good this year and with the Baltimore Orioles not understanding that, you're supposed to start winning a little bit later on in the year. They started winning pretty early in the year. And then they're being chased by Boston. Boston actually had it their way with them, and the Yankees are in last place. So Toronto's right there in the middle. So they're pretty much trying to figure out how they're going to get to the top. Now they're sitting 7.5 games behind the Rays in first place, okay? And they're sitting a game behind the Orioles for second. So this team is looking to keep the ball rolling somewhat and get themselves a nice win here because the Phillies, this would be the best time to beat up on the Phillies while they don't have anybody chasing them. You know what I mean? Because they're the one that are chasing teams. But they got Aaron Nola on the mound as well too today. But Aaron Nola is not having the greatest season this year either. Now, Aaron Nola, last game out, he gave up 4 runs but struck out 5. And only gave up a run against Houston, struck out 6. So it's been off and on with this guy the last few games, but he hasn't been a guy that hasn't been able. He's been getting hit this year. That's the biggest reason why our ERA looks like this because he's given up at least a run in each game this year, and he's given up 3 multiple times and 5 and 4 multiple times, and then he gave up opening day. He gave up 5. So pretty much, Aaron Nola is a guy that it's in rhythm. I think that he'll get better as the season goes along, but this is going to be a tough out for him as well too today. But I also think that this winds up being a really good pitchers matchup because you still have Manoah on the other side, the AL Cy Young winner from last year. He's been struggling as a bit though lately. He got kind of beat up by Boston. 5 innings of work. He gave him 5 runs, only struck out 3 that day. But prior to that, he had 2 really good outings. He shut out the Yankees. He went 7 scoreless innings against the Yankees, struck out 5, then bounced back, came and played Seattle in Toronto, struck out 7, only gave up 2 that day. So this guy, he just hasn't been getting enough run support, in my opinion. So pretty much today, since he's not getting a lot of run support, I think what happens here is that we wind up having this game actually fall into being a very good pitcher's duel. So I like the under in this spot. So we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it shakes out. We move forward from there. All right, so let's go ahead and jump into our next game, the Red Sox and the Braves. This is the Battle of Boston right here because everybody has to, here goes a little bit of history for my youngins. You guys got to understand the Boston Braves were the it team in the city of Boston because they used to win the championships and everything like that. But they were forced out by the Red Sox because the Red Sox had the richer owner. And Boston's a 1-team town. You can't have 2 teams in Boston. So what did they do? Ding, ding, ding. This team went ahead and went to Milwaukee right after that and became the Milwaukee Braves. And then for a little bit, they hung out in Milwaukee and would move to Atlanta and become the Atlanta Braves. And let me make sure I have that right too, because I don't know why I feel like the Boston Braves stopped somewhere before they got to Milwaukee. Okay. But that's absolutely nuts that both these teams used to be in the same city, Braves, Red Sox. And so it was so long ago that, pretty much people would not bring it up. Just like the fact that the the A's, you'll be like, didn't they start in Kansas City? No, they started in Philadelphia. And once again, that was a team that was in a city that can only have one team. So that's what happens. You know what I mean? So pretty much the Braves, all in all, got the best record in the National League right now. You got the Red Sox playing a lot better than they did the first 2 weeks of the season. The Red Sox were absolutely atrocious. The pitching was awful, all this good stuff. But then after a while, you just told yourself that, just stay the course and we'll get where we need to get. And okay, so yeah, it was the Boston Braves. And funny thing is, okay, yes, the Boston Braves only, and they moved to Atlanta in '66, and they left Boston in, it looks like, 1935. Well, actually, they left Boston in 1952. Yep, they left Boston in 1952. They spent time, so they were actually there for a pretty long time, and they actually used to share Fenway Park with the Red Sox as well, too. So I just want to throw out the history of the Braves and the Red Sox real quick. So lightweight, this is a rivalry game today. They are getting back together. So pretty much, let's get to the gist of the game. You got Pivetta on the mound for the Red Sox. And you got for the Braves, you have Morton on the mound for the Braves. So I think today what we do here is I'm going to take Pivetta to go ahead and do his thing, have a big day today, and get himself a good win. I think that the Red Sox get the upset, and they will be the Bet Us dog of the day at plus 155. And also with Bet Us, if you need a sports book, as you guys can see, the Prime Wave Media link is right there. So you guys just go ahead, press that link. You guys go ahead and put your deposit down, and you guys will be in you guys will have a month free of my exclusive bets, but you need to confirm that you did it and that you need to show me that you actually have went ahead and put down a deposit, because I can check the records and make sure that happened. Because if you didn't do that, then really you didn't you didn't do your part of the deal. So pretty much there it is with that. But let's go ahead and jump into our final game that I have for you, and that's going to be the Diamondbacks and the Marlins. Diamondbacks and Marlins, there's not much to say about here. You got Luzardo on the mound for the Marlins, and then you have Hetisher on the mound for Batisher, whatever, on the mound for the Diamondbacks. So you got yourself Fed. Yeah. So he has a 13.50 ERA, 7 runs last game, 3 strikeouts, only walked 1, went 4.2 innings, gave up 9 hits. Yeah, this guy might not be at the major league level much longer. Jesus Luzardo, a guy who, came over from Oakland a few years back. Now he's sitting here. Actually, it was last year when he came from Oakland in a trade. So this year he's been good for the Marlins. He got a little banged up in his last game, but that was against Atlanta. He struck out 5, gave up 4, walked 3. Then against Chicago, he did pretty good. Struck out 6, only gave up 2 runs. So this guy does not get banged up in games that much, but it all depends on what it's going to be for. Once again, is he going to get runs? So it's all about run support for Luzardo at the end of the day. With Fedette, it's all about confidence. So with this game right here, I say that this is another game where we go ahead and we roll the dice and we just play the scoreboard. I feel like we'll get the under. I know Fedette had got beat up in his first game, but the Marlins don't have one of those crazy offenses. You know what I mean? The Marlins have a rhythm offense, and they have in the moment offense. They're not an offense that I ever take that seriously, because a lot of times you see them scoring 2 or 3 runs a game. So we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it shakes out, but I do like the under 9 in this spot. So we'll see how these teams fare. All right, so with that, we're going to go ahead and take another quick commercial break. And when I get back, we will talk those tickets. So you guys stay tuned. This is the Premier Sports Bet Show, the Primetime Angles, with the one and only Pop DiBiase, the Primetime Capper.
Now you and your friends can compete in the sport of kings and win big with Stable Duel. Get the app, pick your horses, and get in on the thrill of horse racing with daily games competing against other players. Bring home the glory and the cash and move up the annual leaderboard while you leave your competition in the dust. Get in the game with Stable Duel. Play, race, win.
Good News Only Racing Club, led by the legendary Doug O'Neill, the trainer of 2 Kentucky Derby winners, and I'll have another in Nyquist. Also trained 2-time Breeders' Cup champ Golden Sense, who are just a part of a long list of thoroughbred champions trained by Doug O'Neill. The Good News Only Racing Club has a young core of horses to look out for in Dennis's Celery, Irish Heatwave, and Notre Dame, just to name a few. Win the day every day with the Good News Only Racing Club, a proud sponsor of the NFL Bet Exchange.
All right, here we are. And now we're finally up on Twitter as well, too. So you guys get talking tickets for the month. You guys can get talking tickets. All right. So pretty much here we are, talking tickets up first. Let's go ahead and jump into the MLB PrimeTime PK6. This is going to be a 61-1 ticket. It's going to be the Guardians -1.5 plus 105. We got the over 9 with the Rockies and the Pirates. Then we have the under 9 with the Jays and the Phillies. Then we have the Red Sox plus 155. And then we have the Royals plus 1.5. That's a -125 as well, too, on the number for it. And then we have the Cubbies -130. So that's a 61-1 ticket right there. Let's see how it goes. Let's see how it checks out. We move forward from there. All right, so now we have the Astros tonight. I like them with the plus 115 on the road. And then, as I said before, I like the under 9 with the Marlins and the D-backs, the 1.5 with the Mariners plus 130. And then we also have the over 8.5 with the Nats and the Giants tonight at the old Pac Bell. So let's see how it goes. Let's see how it checks out. And as I said before, you guys know that the Red Sox are our dog of the day at plus 155. So those are going to be our MLB plays for today. And let's go ahead and jump into our NBA playoff bets for tonight. I like the 76ers, as I said before, to cover in this game. I don't necessarily think they win the game, but I do feel like they will cover this game. So I'm taking them to cover. And then we also have the under 109.5 first half for both sides. And then we also have the 2.5 first quarter to the Celtics. So I feel like the Celtics will have the early lead in this game, but they'll do what they've been doing. They'll figure out a way to blow the lead late and then probably win the game by 5. So that's how I see it. And let's see how it goes. Let's see how it shakes out. All right. Suns Nuggets game 5 bets. We have the over 227.5. I feel like we're going to get scoring on both sides in this game. And then we also have the Nuggets first half -3.5. And then I have the Nuggets -185 money line first quarter. I just really feel like the Nuggets are going to have their way tonight, even though you're going to get a great effort from KD and Booker. I still think that they're going to figure out a way to shut down the other guys. And they do that, they should be able to cruise, to be honest with you. So we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it checks out. We move forward from there. All right. So pretty much with that, I want to thank you guys so much for tuning in today. Once again, you guys already know there is no show without you. So pretty much I thank you guys, as always, for tuning in. So with that, I want to go ahead and say what I always say. Bet with your head, not with your heart. The movement is moving. And as I always like to say, the movement is moving. I got 17 things coming in at once. But the movement is moving. Always bet with your head, not with your heart. And this is the Premier Sports Betting Show, the Primetime Angles with the one and only Pop DiBiase, the Primetime Kappa. And I'll be right back at you tomorrow for some more great angles, some more great analysts, and man, let's have some fun. And can't wait. It's on tonight. Tip off, 4:30, TNT. Can't wait. Hope you guys watch the games. All right. And you know I'll be tweeting about it. So it is what it is. So with that, I am gone.
From the East and the West, you've heard others, but now you've tuned into the best. This is a Prime Wave Media production.